Well, congratulations on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not that you have anything else to do, in all honesty. None of us have anything else to do at the moment, do we? So,
in lockdown, yeah.
Lockdown is, although it's only a couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's what they're saying. But this time round, it has been better than the first time because I have been able to work. So I have been doing stuff and auditions are back on and things like that. Whereas the first time was really, truly like nothing was going on.
Yeah. How is it for you? Before I ask you about the show, how is it navigating that space? Because it's all very different, but I guess you obviously, like everybody else, you want to be going to work. But I guess for actors, you're being tested more, or you're being protected much more than you were before.
Yeah, I mean, as an actor, you always have times when you're not working. So that wasn't so much of a shock. It was just like the unknown, not knowing how long it was going to go on for. But I'm really grateful for the time because I managed to do a course in CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. So I got a diploma in that in the first lockdown, and then was just applying that for like nerves and anxiety for performers, and also, just doing different workshops and stuff. So I was pretty occupied. I got into crochet. I made like 12 million bags. Do you want a bag?
I'll have a bag. 12 million bags.
I made so many bags.
My goodness. Have you got like an Etsy shop or something set up yet?
No, I probably should do that. I've just been handing them out. But yeah. And then, I watched the Marvel movies. We did that. We watched the Marvel movies in order of when they were released.
That's why I did that as well. Like that was in like April. That was like the first week. I was like, I'm going to watch the Marvel movies all the way through. And I was like, that was quick.
What do we do now?
Just start. Most people would just start again, I suppose. But I don't know. Do you have it, before I get on to do you have a favourite out of the Marvel movies while we're talking about it?
Endgame, come on. Let's not be silly.
I watched it again I watched it again a couple of weeks ago with a friend, like virtually, like we watched it at the same time kind of thing. And sort of said, I think this is probably, it gets better as it the more you watch it, it gets better. And I mean, it's time travel, it's a bit silly, but it's a comic book film, so it's all good. So you kept yourself busy, which is good in these crazy times. That's fantastic. Again, congratulations on the show. I watched some of the episodes yesterday, and I was really excited for it anyway. I think most people are because of who is directing it, of course, big deal, and it's HBO and everything else. But then when you get into it, there's a lot more to be discovered. I just wondered from the beginning how you got involved, how the scripts were sent to you, and what it was that kind of piqued your interest in them in the first place.
Well, I was playing a nun in Northampton in a play with Anton Lesser, and got through this audition. And in the audition script, my character was written as a Korean woman. So I basically just had to make it my own. So like I just sent in a tape, and I swapped things like kimchi for jollof rice, and just made her Nigerian heritage. And I got like a tiny breakdown, and I knew that it was Luca Guadagnino. I'd obviously seen Call Me By Your Name, loved that film. So I was really excited about it. And then I had a few weeks wait, and they kept asking me if I was available, and I was like, I'm always available for this. And then I got offered the role, and Luca told me who else was attached, and I was so excited. And we spoke about my character, and I sort of had some ideas from personal stories, I guess, from Nigerian heritage that I thought would lend itself quite nicely to Jenny's character. And he actually put some of that stuff in the script as well, which was amazing. So I'm not sure which episode you're up to, but in some episodes I speak about a bit of background about Nigeria, and that's from our conversations.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Although yesterday when I was looking at the cast list, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I've seen it yet, but I had a couple of things, not spoilers, but right at the bottom of the list, I'm not going to go into it, there were a couple of uncredited appearances from people, and I was like,
cameos.
I was like, I didn't know these guys are going to be in it.
Yeah,
or girls.
They both came to visit set. I think we can say it's public knowledge. I think it's those articles.
Army and Timothy.
Yeah, and Timothy. So Timothy came to see Scott. He was doing a movie, I think, that was on at Venice Film Festival, and then he came to set. And that was one of my first days filming. He was like, are you sure? Is it okay if I come? I was like, okay. And then, so he just did like a little cameo in the background, walking past the window. And then Army, I wasn't filming that day, but he plays, I think, somebody in the canteen or the cafeteria.
Yeah, it says
Like,
cafeteria
he went
worker or
full
something.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like full costume. I think he had like a moustache. Like, he really went in. Whereas Timothy was kind of just cool with it and just like
Just
walk
walked in the
past.
background. Yeah, no, see, those are the cool ones, I think, in terms of cameos, because you have to work for it. It's not like, you know, in the Marvel
Yeah.
movie where like Doctor Strange turns up. It's like, oh, okay, but he's only in New York, isn't he? Whereas you have to like spot Timothy, and so that's quite kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool. But I mean, the story itself, I mean, the world it's set in is very unique anyway. An army base, families on the army base. I mean, that is a very unique environment, and most people won't ever experience that. So,
Yeah.
how was that for you in terms of being part of that process of learning about what these people are going through? Because again, it is a very strange bubble of a world that many
It
people won't ever
is.
experience.
Well, I went to boarding school, so I actually was friends with a lot of people in the forces, and I did spend some holidays on army bases. But the US military is quite different, and the law, they've got their own sort of military laws as well. So it is very different. We actually managed to go to the base that our show was inspired by. And that was a really interesting experience. But we were originally going to film there, but then they didn't let us when they saw the script. So we had our own set that was built, and that was being built. So like certain scenes couldn't be filmed because the house was still being built. It was all a bit mad with the schedule, but that is a really unique setting. And I just love it. I loved the script because of that, because it was a really unique setting. It was characters that you just hadn't seen before, in a setting that you just weren't really familiar with, that hadn't been televised in that way, and exploring subject matters like gender fluidity and sexuality in ways that weren't necessarily defined. And they weren't didactic, so it was really interesting for me.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, when we first meet Jenny, she seems a very jovial, very hopeful person. You know, she brings cake, and she's very welcoming to people. But as I've only seen a couple of episodes, but you get the sense that there's something a little bit not off with her, but there's something that she's yearning for, something different, and maybe that her kind of wistfulness isn't quite where it should be. It must be great to play a character like that. There is one thing when you start, especially in TV, you start in one position, but you know that there's a lot more layers to her story, and the discovery is for an audience is exciting. But I can imagine that's exciting for you as an actor as well, to see how she develops and how she kind of comes up with her life.
Yeah, so exciting. She's so complex. And as you say, on the surface, she's just this kind of warm, welcoming presence, helping families settle into the base. I won't reveal too much of a spoiler, but she kind of goes on a journey during the series and completely surprises herself in what she discovers about herself. At first, I think she basically anchors herself in duty and service, and her identity is all about how she serves others, how she's a wife, how she's a mother, how she's a colleague. And she meets somebody and finds a bond, and they help her explore who she is for herself and what she wants, which I think isn't a concept that she'd ever really thought about. And also the immigrant experience as well, with her, kind of eschewing her original culture and her truth to try and assimilate into this American dream. And that definitely has ramifications. So I think with her, there's a lot that she's repressing in order to try and fit into this mold that I guess society is sort of putting on her. And I think she definitely buys into those expectations and finds them very important, above her own needs, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the great thing about the show, you spoke about there about the kind of the gender fluidity and all the other stuff that's going on. Also from Jenny's point of view and the you know, her background and everything else, that it isn't just about that. It's a kind of it's treated as a universal thing. It isn't just about, you know, where she's from. It's about her as a person. I mean, that it's one of those shows that's very much like, again, Luca's kind of the perfect person to do that, in that it isn't specifically tied to a person's history. It's about, you know, it's about them as people, if you like. I mean, that must be refreshing that it doesn't highlight where she's. It's about her journey, wherever these people are from and whatever they choose to do with their life. That it's about the journey.
Yeah, and that was lovely because Jenny is from Nigeria, because that's my heritage. So she happens to be Nigerian. It's not all about her being Nigerian. That's what I found beautiful about Call Me By Your Name. It's a love story, it's a coming of age story, and they happen to be gay rather than it being a coming out story. So yeah, it feels like with all the characters, I mean, it's really corny, but the title is We Are Who We Are. It's just meeting these people in these moments of time and yeah, just sitting with them and experiencing. It's kind of very much a vibe and less plot filled, which I like. And I think that especially in a year like this, we've got time to just kind of sit and enjoy something that's a bit more lyrical and slow paced.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I guess for it's always great to work with great people, any job that you do, but in this one there's a plethora of amazing talent in this. It must be great to go to work every day with a young, kind of hungry, vibrant cast, but also there's the smattering of people like Chloe Sevigny, Alice Braga, who are seasoned people who have kind of had careers where they're not defined by one role. They're particularly Chloe Sevigny. She's someone that wants to try everything. It must be great to work with someone with that experience and that kind of passion for their work.
It was an absolute honor and privilege. And it was a lovely mixture of total newcomers, people who had never done any filming before, and then like you say, like absolute titans like Chloe and Elise, and it was just amazing to learn from them and experienced it working with them, and also with Luca as well. It was just incredible. I learned a lot, and it was a dream job, really. Very spoiled. The location and the people were just amazing.
Yeah. And what's it like working with Luca? Because he obviously he made his name out of all. He started with, like, you know, kind of art house movies and stuff like that, but very accessible movies, and then he's become a more, I guess, a bigger name in terms of directing because of who he's worked with and the movies that he's made. But what's the experience like working for him? Why is he such a kind of colossal talent in many ways?
I think he works very viscerally, and he has really inspired ideas that I don't know how anybody could sort of think of them. Like, there was some times when, like, there was one time, for example, he was like, "Oh, come here, I picked a song for this scene," and it's a really emotional scene. And I'm not sure if he knows this, but the song is basically from, like, you know, that postcode lottery advert in the UK. I'm not sure if it's like, somebody's knocking at the window. Yeah, and I was like, this is a really odd choice. But then when I watched it, and when I watched it, I was in tears. It absolutely soared. It fit it was almost like it was a music video for that song. He's really, really collaborative, very generous, asks your opinion on everything, very free with the script and with the text, and he's just amazing to work with, really.
Luca Guadagnino watches the postcode lottery adverts.
Well, I don't know whether he knows that it's used for that.
Does. He probably does. He probably watches the Bake Off and, you know, forward a bed, all that stuff, and it just comes on.
Come dine with me.
Come dine with me. Yeah. See, I'm a forward a bed guy, but hey. Obviously, the show's been released in the States. You've had some really good reviews. How excited are you for the kind of British audience to see it now? Because it is a very American story. You know, it's very about American dream ideals, but also it's not. It's about life in general. It's about universal themes. I mean, how excited are you for people to see it? Because it's going on, I think, BBC Two. I think it's BBC.
Yeah, BBC Two, BBC One,
BBC
on
One and BBC Two.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, which is kind of a perfect place for it in many ways.
Yeah, BBC One on Tuesday nights and BBC Three. The full box set's gonna come onto iPlayer. Yeah, on Sunday. I'm really excited. It's been really weird because I imagined that I would be in America when it was out sort of in the mix. So it's been weird it being out there, but I'm really excited for it to come home. And even though it's an American, I guess it's not really anywhere because it's a military base. It's kind of a third culture-y sort of environment. It's its own world, and it's a pretty weird show. It's kind of offbeat, and I think that a British audience will really enjoy that. Like, I think that we've got space for kind of seeing TV that's a bit indie and that takes its time, and it's really cinematic as well. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm excited just for all my loved ones to see it as well.
And also, how in terms of yourself, I mean, obviously you said you're working and everything else. I mean, after the show, do you set yourself goals, or do you just kind of go with the flow and see where it takes you with the opportunities and just take them as they come?
I kind of go with the flow, but I've been doing this thing with a few of my friends, going 5 things in the next 5 years. So I have kind of things like that. It's like a wish list, but it's not kind of a strict, because a lot of the time you don't know what's even been written yet. So you can't really, have goals as an actor unless you're writing, I guess, or producing something yourself. But yeah, I like to manifest things, and but more in general terms.
Yeah, you dropped the little Marvel movie hint at the beginning, so maybe Kevin Feige's listening. But hey, if anything, Kevin Feige, he sees talent everywhere, doesn't he? He picks people out from everywhere, all walks of life, and he watches all the shows. Like, he always picks someone it's like, oh my god, someone from that show is in the Marvel movie. It's incredible. Could be you. Who knows?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So what is next for you? Have you got anything lined up, or are you just auditioning and stuff like that at the moment?
I'm not allowed. I'm going to be really annoying. I'm not allowed to say.
It is a Marvel movie then. That's the only time that happens.
It's not a Marvel movie.
No.
I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey